It's June 20th, 2013, and welcome to Moonscapes. I was about 10 minutes into a video, and I had another complete computer shut down. Don't know what's causing them. I had it rammed to this computer a while back, thought that might solve it. But it happened to me again, and I was about 10 minutes in. I was thinking about maybe just picking it up from that point on, but I'm going to go back and start from the beginning and kind of went over the material I did, and hopefully it won't happen again. We got a beautiful moon tonight, 3 days from full, and we're coming along a terminator that we rarely get to see. It's only visible for a couple days just before full moon. Right now, as I say, we're 3 days away from full moon. Once we hit full moon, we lose these beautiful objects. They're lost in the high sun angle, and they don't come back again until the moon is in its last quarter phase, going to crescent phase, which is very early in the morning, like 2:30, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not out observing at that time anymore. I've had many, many years of doing that, off and on a lot, and I've just decided that I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I'm going to be in bed sleeping at that hour. So I've got to get these just before full moon. Right away there, beautifully visible, is the crater Tycho with that gorgeous ray system. We can zoom in on that just a little bit to start out with. I need to center it up just a little bit so I can get in a little closer. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that central peak in there. That's absolutely gorgeous. That's a beautiful, beautiful crater. Okay, we'll back out, and I want to move up. Oh, wrong way, wrong button. And I'm going to go back up here. And there's not Schicard, but Schiller, that elongated crater. We just viewed that last night. That crater is it looks like a double crater. As I said, there's strong indications that it's a double crater where a secondary impact happened over the first, eliminating the wall between them. An indication of that is looking up at the top part of that crater. There's a central peak and detail in the center of the upper part of the crater and none at the bottom. So that's a fair argument for a dual impact there. Okay, let's move along. I'm a little gun shy here. I just don't want this computer failing on me again. I just don't know what's causing that every once in a while. It happens periodically. I think that this Acer laptop is being pushed to the limit doing these videos. But anyway, this formation, the very large crater, is Schicard. And give me a second. Get you. Okay, Schicard is 137 miles in diameter. If my voice trails off a little bit as I go to my computer, it's because I've got the mic hanging off my car rack clothes hanger right down in front of me as I'm sitting at my laptop, and I've got the laptop in my lap in a better location, so I'm not leaning forward over the bent down front seat trying to reach and speak into the mic and see the screen. I can see everything much better this way. This crater is very interesting. If you notice, let me see if I can change a few settings here. Let's see if the contrast will do it. Not too well. This crater is noted for differences in the floor, coloring in the floor. Notice up at 12 o'clock in that crater, a large patch is darker material than the central part, which is light, and then down right at 5:30 to 6 o'clock is a small patch of darker material. That's shows up very well at different times. Let me see if the color intensity will do much for us tonight. Yeah, there, boost the color, and you can see it shows up a little bit better. Now notice just below Schicard, there's a smaller crater, and That crater is Nesmith, and then there's a slightly larger crater which is attached to it. And that crater, I've got to go hunting for that. That crater is, and I don't know if I can pronounce this, Philositles. That's probably completely wrong, but anyway, that large crater, it's 69 miles in diameter. That whole formation right through there is really, really pretty nifty. Nice detail there. Okay, I'm going to back out a little bit, and I'm going to move down now. And we're going to come along the area we were at last night, Mare Humorum area. And there we go. We've got it. And let me just center it up a little better. We just looked at this area last night, so we had a pretty good view of it last night. Sun angle's a bit higher tonight. Let's zoom in a little bit on it. Over on the right-hand side at 3 o'clock in Mare Humorum, of course, is Cassendi. Notice it's got that line that points up to it like at 11 o'clock. It looks like a ridge or some kind of mountain range which points right to it. I'm adjusting the color downward a little bit here for now. Should we? I'm going to leave it around 40%. So we can try to bring up some of that variation in the floor. And then, of course, over at 9 o'clock is that partially buried crater. That's Doppelmayr. And about 50% of it is buried with lava. Back during the lava flow period, that whole Mare flooded with lava and almost completely wiped out that crater. There's another crater, very prominent. Let me see. I believe, yeah, okay. It's if you look at Mare Humorum, I'm going to kind of bring it down again. Notice right at the top of Mare Humorum, right around 12 o'clock, there's a very nice formed crater up on top there. That is Mersenius. And Mersenius is 51 miles in diameter. The one feature that I really wanted to show you tonight, we're short by a couple of hours, and I need to go back to Schroters, because I actually forgot about it because it's not visible. But notice we're back at Schroters and Nesmith, that smaller crater. Notice just into the dark, there's starting to be an indication between those two large craters. Notice there seems to be a crater wall which is beginning to catch sunlight. That is Worthington. That's a very, very strange feature. It's actually a crater, and apparently it was formed by impact, and then there was a lava flow that filled the crater, almost like a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, filled it right to the brim, and then just before it ran over out into the surrounding terrain, it stopped, and we have a very nicely formed plateau there, and you can notice you're just beginning to see those, there's two, let me see, we got a little bit more zoom. Let me see if I can get in just a little bit closer. We might see it a little bit better. See, it looks like there's two ridges. Those are actually right on top of the floor of Worthington. And they actually form a pattern that almost looks kind of like a Y when you can see the whole floor. If we were about an hour, even an hour, I mean, I was looking at this about a half an hour ago before I started, and then when I did the first video and it quit on me, and we couldn't see into the floor that good just a little while ago, so the sun's rising on there pretty quick. If we have time, well, I'll go back and check this before we sign off, and we'll see where we are with that. Okay, let's back off a little bit and get down so I can see where I am a little better. Yeah, you can see some blue now over in the Mare floor there, Mare Humorum. Okay, and we're going to come down now and get into some features that I find really, really interesting. Well, one of them is, notice right along that mountain ridge there, right along the Terminator, notice that C-shaped object. I'm gonna, let me get it back here. That is, hang on one second. I believe, not 100% certain. I'm on it. You're right. Yeah, it looks like. I'm having trouble locating that on my map. Let me see those two craters. Yeah, they're pointing right to it. That's got to be the formation right there. Again, if my voice is fading, I'm sorry. This is really, really weird. Schroters. It's a destroyed crater. Really strange. It's got very low walls, and why that complete side has been taken out to the right, I don't know. And then another feature which I find really interesting, and I've got to move this a little bit. Let's see. I'll bring this up, and let me see. Why am I having trouble locating this? Where are we? Oh, okay, I got it. I'm going to put it almost dead center now. This is Flamsteed, or Flamsteed. It's another partial crater which is ruined. See, it's dead center. It's a C going the other way, partially or almost completely destroyed on one side. Let me cut the exposure down. We're getting a little bit overpowered here. This is a tough area to work with. I'm going to cut the power down there, and see there you can see it's another destroyed crater with a smaller one attached to its wall. Those had to be flooded out when that mar there was formed. Okay, and now we want to move down, and I want to get to an area that I find completely engrossing, and that is the Marius Hills area. Let me zoom in or out actually a little bit. Move this up, and let's get to this first. Okay, there we go. I can see them clearly, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. The crater Marius is dead center. And what's really, really interesting about it, let me see if I can get you the diameter of that crater. Okay, Marius is 25 miles in diameter, and it's dead center, or almost dead center, a little. And what I really find interesting is what's called the Marius Hills. Notice to the top, going up to 12 o'clock, notice those bumps, and the wrinkled-looking terrain. Those are called the Marius Hills, and they're actually cinder cones. And I always kind of refer to this as what looks like coarse sandpaper, those humps sticking up. I mean, if you were to take a piece of coarse sandpaper and shine a light on it at a very, very sharp angle, you'd get that kind of look. This area is very interesting historically. Johann Schroter, back in the 1700s, he was very interested in several areas of the moon, and he was a strong advocate for life on the moon. He started that selenite situation that really went crazy. And he thought this area and then a couple other areas, one around Higgins Rill near the central part of the moon, were actually cities. This one here was called one of the white cities of the moon. And he never had any really luck in finding and definitely proving his areas of inhabitants, and of course we know now why, because there aren't any inhabitants there. But following him came Gerthstein, Franz Gerthstein, and he was the one that really picked up that work, and Schroter was his hero, and he followed in Schroters' footsteps, and he worked that area. This one here, the Marius Hills. He worked the Higgins Rill area. He found an area near Palace, and we've looked at it in the past. Murchison and Palace. We looked at that area one night, and he claims to have found structures on there. Of course, these are all proven not to be the case, but it's very interesting historically, and I find it fascinating, and I love going in and looking at these areas. We're working, as I said, with about 170 power, and then zooming in, we're probably getting the power up above that quite a bit. But you can see there's Marius, dead center. That smaller crater, let's see, that smaller crater that's off to its left is Reiner. And Reiner is 18 miles in diameter, so you can see we're pretty zoomed in pretty good. In that whole area, there's those craters and those hills, cinder cones, and that's it. And how he thought they were cities, I don't know, but he did, and that's it. Maybe some night we'll get some good Connecticut seeing. That's a joke. And we can get it a lot closer. You can see the scenes bouncing around pretty good. Actually, this is a so-so night for us in Connecticut. Like I say, I wish I had that Texas scene. Boy, he just gets some rock-steady views down there, Bill does. He's quite fortunate with this scene. Of course, you got to realize that's Texas. That's where they hold the Texas Star Party. It's one of the best places in the United States, out in the dark western part of the state for observing, and the observing conditions there are absolutely wonderful. Okay, let me back out here, and we'll move on a little bit more. We'll go over to my next feature. This is one of my real all-time favorites, and it's Aristarchus, the crater Aristarchus. Notice that brilliant white-walled crater, dead center. Let me give you some mileages on those. Aristarchus is 24 miles in diameter, so it's not that big of a crater. Let's home in a little bit on it. And then that snake-like rill is called Schroters Valley, and the crater that is to the upper left, I'm being careful, my left and right, like I did the other night when I kept on saying move to the left, and I should have been going to the right. I don't know how I managed to do that. But anyway, we want to go to the upper left of our Aristarchus, and that is Herodotus, and that's 21 miles in diameter. This area here is really, really strange. Trying to figure it out, I mean, I'm no geologist, and this is the geologist's dream, this area. I know the brilliant white wall indicates that it's a fairly new impact. The brighter the white, the newer the impact, generally is the rule. And believe it or not, even though there's no atmosphere on the moon, there is weathering. The longer a feature is exposed, the darker it'll start to turn. In other words, over millions and millions of years, this brilliant white Aristarchus will actually start to turn a little darker color. And what causes that? There's no wind, there's no rain, and such up there as we have here on Earth. And what causes is the solar radiation, the solar wind. That goes to work on the ground, and it tends to darken it over a long, long period of time. But right now, that is so brilliant white. You can tell that's a relatively new structure. And we do something with color here. Let's turn the color up. Contrast, let's see, it doesn't do much justice. That's actually a little too much. That's a little not enough. Okay, let's bring that down. Let's bring the brightness. I'm just trying to play games here and see if I can do something with this color, because this is one of those areas too where a lot of color reports have been made from this area, where color variations have taken place. If you notice here, we've got bluishness out on the plains, and then the mountain range where Schroters Valley runs through it, it takes on a deeper color. You almost want to say a greenish, and I've seen some sites call it green, and it's actually been tagged as being grass and trees. Of course, it's not. It's just the darker coloration on it. But that this area is just gorgeous. I love that rill there, Schroters Valley. Good old Schroter. He thought the Selenites actually inhabited the moon, and this feature was named in honor of him. He has a crater also, but the Schroter Valley is really a neat structure. Okay, let's back out a little bit, and we'll move along and look at a few more things. And I still get in the back of my mind of losing. If this video ends abruptly, this one I will put up no matter what, because we move quite along. If it just ends abruptly, I've had another computer glitch, so that'll be what caused it. Because we've got I'm 22 minutes in now, and pretty soon I'm going to be looking to end this. And here comes our famous area, our C-shaped area, sinus iridium, I believe is I gotta double check myself. And I'm going to my maps here, and I just want to check. Come on! I hit the button here. It's yeah, sinus iridium. That whole U-shaped area is called sinus iridium. I couldn't be sure. I just wanted to make sure I was right on that. And this is that one last night. Remember we were talking about? It looked like a woman's face. Tonight it's the upper part of the sea. Looking down, she is, and that is yeah, that's Promontory Hercules. And if we zoom in, I don't know if I've got enough power. It doesn't show up as much as tonight, like it did last night. Last night it really kind of took on that woman's face look. But anyway, it's the upper part of the sea. And notice to the right, at the very tip of it, there's a spot that's white, or it almost looks like a chin and a nose. And then to the back, there looks like kind of like a brownish golden flowing hair. The mind can really make all kinds of pictures. And that's what it tries to do when it sees something. It tries to make sense out of it in some kind of shape. And as I said in the past, I've seen some beautiful old maps with that drawn in as a woman's head. It's pretty neat, pretty neat. Now, this area here, I like this area here too, behind. That's the Jura Mountains, behind the sea. And then I believe, and I've got to check, hold on one second. Now, this looks very different. No, okay. No, I am right. That very, very large crater back behind the Jura Mountains, and our sinus iridium is Herschel, and that's got a crater in its floor, which we did not see last night. Let me see if my moon map here, my moon atlas shows that. It doesn't really doesn't give me a good view of it on my map. I can't quite tell what when the map actually gives me Herschel and Herschel J. That may be Herschel J. I don't know. I'd have to get a little better map to find out exactly what that is. Yeah, let's back down here a little bit. And back out. We'll get a broader view. I know where I wanted to go here. I'm going to try, here we're getting some nice coloration in the Mars floor now here, so, but what I think we need to do is put it on auto. Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting some better coloration. And I'm going to up the intensity of the color just a little bit. Notice above Plato, the large flat Ford crater, it's of rust red, and then the bluish tinge mixing into the floor farther up. And if I increase the contrast there, you can really see it pretty good there. I think it tends to do is wash out a lot of that detail along the edge, which I don't like to do. But okay, I'm going to move up, and here this is a gorgeous area of the moon. Copernicus at the bottom, Kepler at the top, and they're gorgeous ray systems. And I may have to adjust manually. Yeah, there we go. That's brightening up the gain a little bit there. What I'm trying to do is hold the detail in Copernicus, but not darken the rest of the scene too much. And I'm having some success, and not quite as much as I'd like. If I get in a little closer, I'm trying to hold them both in the same field because it's such a gorgeous photograph here, or image. Copernicus on the bottom, Kepler on the top. Both of them beautiful ray structures. Kepler much more extensive. I'm sorry, Copernicus much more extensive than Kepler up on the top. Now, what we can also do is let's put Copernicus in the center. And let's just set this, let's zoom in. And let's set the settings for Copernicus. So it shows at its best without worrying about the surrounding terrain. I'm trying to play games with some of these different settings to see where the best setting for this crater is going to be. See, the sun is starting to get high here, and when it does that, it makes it very difficult to hold all the detail. I'm struggling. Every time I move it, it just really jumps. What happens if, oh wait, you know what? Let me try auto, and let me see if that's not gonna, oh yeah, it did. It allowed me to adjust that a little bit. Okay, that's pretty neat there. Notice the terraced walls again here, and you can really see those rays. They're really prominent. Now, this crater has a number of tiny craterlets around it, and it takes good seeing to see those. And of course, our lovely Connecticut scene is just not going to really show them. I'm looking around. I'm trying to find a hint of. They actually form chains, little chains. And they show up rather nicely but we just do not have the scene. There's just a little too much movement. I think I can see hints of them. In fact, when I review this video with my my large screen TV tomorrow, I may actually find out that I am picking them up, and they're just not showing up on my preview screen. That's gorgeous, gorgeous. And I see we're 30 minutes in, typical. And there's that mountain range associated with Copernicus. And now we're up here on the Kepler area. Nice. Really nice. And I'm thinking about why we still have a few minutes. Let me go back to my crater Schroters on the moon's edge. And let's see if we got any more sunlight up in that area of Worthington. I may have to do something with this. Let's turn the contrast down a little, wrong way. Turn it down a little bit. That's a little better. Now let's go back up and find my crater. Still not up high enough. It's farther south. We're actually going to the south here, believe it or not. There it is. Okay, now I'm beginning to be able to see the top of it. Let me see if I turn up some of these controls, if it does anything or not. Brightness. Yeah, there's the, okay. And let's do the contrast. See, unfortunately, I'm zoomed all the way in on this now. If I had a little more power, we could see a little better. I think I got one more click. That's it. Okay, notice dead center in the screen. There's what looks like a plateau, and then in it you can see what looks like raised lines. That's Worthington. That's the crater that's filled with lava. And if we were to sit on this for another half hour, that whole mesa top would become visible. I mean, just in the short half hour that I've been on, we can see the sunlight has moved over on that quite nicely, and beginning to come into view pretty good. So, all in all, I think we've done pretty well. Let me, and when we're looking at your card, notice the floor in that crater. Notice the, there's the darkness there. I've got it really over enhanced here, but notice the dark patch on the bottom and the darker shading up on the top and the brightness in the center. That's a feature of that crater. Okay, let's bring things back to normal here. Actually, for normal in this area, I actually may have to take the auto off and drop the exposure. Yeah, that's a little better. Contrast. But notice the wavering we get. We just don't get a break here in Connecticut. It's really a shame. I just don't get the nice scene that I'd like to get. And let's back out and get a kind of a more of a full view with this eyepiece, or as much as it'll give us, and we'll end it there. As you can see, we've got I keep on hitting my mouse and knocking it away, and I lose the whole picture on the screen. I don't think it's interrupting the video. I'm sure, hope it's not. If it is, I'm sorry about that, because it could be aggravating. It is for me, but I don't think you're seeing it. I don't think the video picks that up. If it does, I apologize. Here, there's our area along the Terminator. And again, this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous area. And it's only visible for a few days, and then we lose it at full moon. There's the Marius Hills area, those Schroters Valley. This whole area along here is just absolutely gorgeous. There's the Sinus Iridium. And in just a few short days, we're going to lose all that beautiful, beautiful detail, and we'll go into full moon. And as I say, this will probably be my last video for this cycle. not sure when I'll come out with the next one. I do have some vacation time coming. It takes me up to Vermont. And boy, you want to talk about dark skies. I've gone up there on vacations and taken some telescopes back in the days when I was a lot younger and able to handle some equipment. And boy, I'd go out up there and the skies are just so inky black. I would come back home and not even want to use my telescope here back home. There was just that much difference in the sky conditions. The Milky Way out there, out in the dark countryside. I mean, it just hangs out. I would take friends of mine out and show them the night sky, and they'd look on it on this beautiful summer night and look at this patch of light going down the center of the sky, and their first thing would be, it's a little bit cloudy tonight. And I'm saying, no, it's not cloudy. That is the Milky Way. They had never seen the Milky Way in their life, and it's really an awesome sight when you really see it, especially from such a black sky. I mean, it actually is so dark in some spots here that even when you know the constellations, as I know them fairly well, you can have a hard time picking them out because so many faint stars become visible. It actually makes the constellations hard to pick out. But anyway, I'm looking at it. We're well into the past 36 minutes. Had a really nice view of this Terminator along this edge of the moon tonight, and hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, I'm not sure when I'll be back with the next video. Hopefully I'll get something done in the next cycle. If my vacation time cuts into it, I may be a little longer before my next video. But I will be back with another video as soon as possible. So, again, I'm going to say good health, clear skies, everyone, and we'll see you in the not too distant future with a new video. Take care, guys.